Hi friends, it's time for our tarot reading of the week for July 21st to July 27th, 2025. Mercury retrograde is still going on. If you missed last week's reading, go catch that because it has a lot of information about that. That energy is going to be with us through August 11th. But we're going to focus on this week, July 21st to July 27th. We have Leo season starting on the 22nd. And then right away, there's a new moon in Leo on the 24th. So really big shift in energy in those regards. Mercury is also retrograding in Leo. So we got a lot happening in Leo right at the beginning of the month. So specifically on the 24th, the sun, the moon, and Mercury will all be in Leo. All right, so let's take a look and see what you need to know, understand for this week ahead. Thank you, Spirit. What does this collective need to know or understand for this week ahead? July 21st to July 27th. What does this collective need to know or understand for this time? July 21st to July 27th. Thank you, Spirit. July 21st to July 27th. Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Okay, so first of all, I'm getting that I think you need to really make sure that you know who you are. Okay, I see the Self card with the Empress. You need to know what you deserve. You need to know what your standards are. You need to know who the hell you are. Okay, the Strength card is the sign for Leo. And so like knowing your own strength, and that I know that card didn't come out, but like that's like the energy of Leo season. Knowing how powerful you are, who you are, what you deserve, and reminding yourself. You literally might even want to like talk to yourself in the mirror and remind yourself, affirm for yourself like what you deserve. The deserving is a lot of what's coming forward. Okay, so like I deserve this, and you know, sometimes when we affirm, sometimes we might say like I don't deserve XYZ. Don't want you to do that. I want you to focus on what you do deserve. So especially if you're affirming things this week, I want you to make sure that you're affirming for what you want, not what you don't want. Okay, so if you're like, all the problems are resolved, that's still kind of a focus on the problem. So instead you're like, we have all solutions that we need. Like, see how there's like a difference there? So we're focusing on what you're actually wanting, not the removal of what you don't want in a way. Okay, so I think that that's important because I see the Ace of Crystals. So it's like the words that you're speaking, you have to really keep in mind how your brain is processing what you're saying. So it's like when you say, don't think of a pink elephant, like, of course you think of a pink elephant, your brain doesn't hear the don't. If you're like, all the problems are resolved, your brain isn't focusing on the are resolved, your brain is focusing on the problems, all the problems. Okay, so you're making sure that you're really like specific. And I actually think that that is a positive of Mercury retrograde, where it reminds us that we do need to be like crystal clear, Ace of Crystals. And especially when it comes to what you're saying about you, what you're saying about what you deserve, your beliefs, your standards for yourself, your beliefs in yourself. Empress and Self card. Okay. Then I was laughing because the Three of Wands coming out in reverse is definitely telling me like this is not the week to book travel. If you're trying to plan travel, if you have to, you have to, I get it. But I'm really getting like, this is not the week to book travel. This is not the week to make very big decisions, big life changes, Three of Wands in reverse. So this is like kind of staying put. You're not going too far from home. If you already had travel booked, like it's okay, expect delays, make sure that you're really prepared, like really, really be extra prepared, okay? But it's like, you're not trying to plan travel, don't try to push yourself too hard to move like forward out of, like, it's okay to, it is actually okay to be a little bit more in your comfort zone in a way. But I also think it's like, this isn't necessarily the time to have like big endings, but also this doesn't mean to go backwards. Okay, so this isn't about like breaking down and like letting old stuff come back in because that was your comfort zone. That's not what I mean. I literally mean like being in your more like current comfortable place. So it's not necessarily about moving backwards, but it's also not about, you don't necessarily have to move too forwards. Okay. And this actually reminds me, so last week's reading, I ended up posting parts of it to TikTok, and I had put like the theme of it was like, don't let yourself backslide. And that is the theme for Mercury retrograde. So like that's still very present this week, not letting yourself backslide. Thank you, Spirit. What else can this collective expect for this week? July 21st to July 27th. 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 Thank you, Spirit. Wow. Okay. There is some backwards movement in that something that happened while Venus was in Aries and Saturn was in Pisces. Might have to check the dates on that because I can't remember exactly when that was, but this was recent. This was in 2025. Venus was in Aries, Saturn was in Pisces. Some pain from that time is coming back up. Okay, 3 of Crystals, 4 of Wands, 8 of Cups. It's kind of like an opportunity for you to this is Venus and Aries, this is Saturn and Pisces, this is the pain. It's like this time, this opportunity for you to better process that pain. Okay, you're more equipped to do it for some reason with the Page of Cups here. You're more able to understand it. You're more able to, you're able to like alchemize that pain at a new level now with the 8 of Stars coming out. So that might also be kind of like the backwards. It doesn't mean go back to the pain. It doesn't mean like letting someone back in. It just means like that pain from that time period, something is triggering you this week about it. Okay, so something is coming up this week. Be prepared for triggers, but remember what you deserve. Remember that you can handle it. Remember that you are strong. Remember who you are, right? Know who you are. Remember who the hell you are. That's the message for this week. If there's one sentence, it's that. Don't let what's happening outside around you confuse you. You know the answer. You know the truth already within you, 4 of Cups. I do see the Tower coming out. I already know some of you are going to not like the fact the Tower is here. I feel like there's events this week that are almost trying to tear you down, but you don't have to let that all happen. It's weird because normally I'm very much about like embracing the Tower moment. I think that there's an element of like a Tower moment from the past is coming up. You're triggered by it and remembering the Tower moment from the past. And yes, that we still need, like, allow yourself to process the fact that that Tower moment did need to happen and like that you're moving forward. That might be for some of you. But I also think for some of you, there's like some things trying to come tear you down and you're like, freaking no, that's not happening. Okay. So don't let a Tower moment that is about your identity happen to you this week. That you don't need to do, especially when it's outside forces coming at you. You know who you are. Tower moments in terms of like external things outside of you, that might happen, but this seems to be like a not allowing anyone to be in control of your Tower. You're in control of your Tower. You get to decide what parts of yourself you're shedding. You're not letting other people tell you that because you know who you are.